The type tool is so powerful here inside of Photoshop, and of course so many things that we do involve adding text to our images here. So I wanted to do a very quick tutorial just to give you some type tips. It's actually 10 tips, 10-ish tips. I think you'll find there's little mini tips interspersed throughout. And the first one is actually a freebie. I'm not even going to count it. But when you're making type, okay? So here, let's just go ahead. I'll type in my name. And when I'm done, now, if you have a regular keyboard with the numeric pad and everything, you can just press the enter or return key on the numeric keypad to commit the type, okay? Meaning that you're not going to be typing anymore, where enter or return is not going to add a line break there. But what happens if you're not on a keyboard with a numeric keypad? You can press Command Return, or that would be Control Return on a PC. So on a Mac it would be Command, on the PC it would be Control. Just press Control Return or Enter, and it will commit your type for you. All right, so moving on. A lot of people don't know that if you want to select your type so that you can change all of it at once, just double click the little type layer here inside the layers panel, and it puts a selection around all your type, and now you can start retyping to whatever you want to. So just double click right inside of that layers panel. I'm going to retype my name here. There we go. So that'll select all your type for you. Now, what happens if I want to put some text really close? Like, let's say I wanted to put, like, this was going to be a logo or something. I want to put a tagline right below. And look what happens if I try to click really close to the text. It keeps selecting and keeps putting me inside of the text area here. Well, if you want to put something or text really close to other text, you've got to have that little box. See how it moves away when I go over the text, but as I move away, it comes there. So that means I'm ready to create a new type layer. Well, what you can do is if you want to get it really close, just hold down the Shift key. That'll put the box there for you, and then you can click. And now I'm basically putting text over text in this example, but you kind of get the idea. If you need to put it very close to another block of text, just hold down that Shift key and it'll let you put it wherever you want. Okay, so what happens here, let's go ahead and let's click on right before Matt. And we all know if we press the right arrow key, it'll go through all the different letters here. Okay, and the left arrow key will, of course, go back. But I got an email. Let me go ahead and turn that off for a second. Or some people might start their video over, but I'm going to leave it. Anyway, so if you press the right key, you'll go through the words or through the letters. But if you hold down the Command key, it'll actually jump entire words for you. So if you've got a lot of text and you want to jump to a very specific word, just hold down the Command key. You can see here, I'm holding it down now. If I press the right arrow key, see how it jumps to my last name? If I press it again, you'll see how it jumps to the end of my last name. So that's when you're inside of the text block that you're actually creating here. And by the way, I keep doing it. If you're inside the text block and you want to cancel out, you want to leave everything as is and move on to another tool, just hit the escape key. That doesn't even count. See, it's another freebie because I had to waste those valuable seconds to go turn off my email. All right, let's see here. Increasing the spacing between text. That's another popular one. So you might go in here and you might create some text. And you don't want to make the text bigger or smaller. You just want to decrease or increase the spacing between the letters in the text. You can hold down the Option key on Mac and press the right arrow key, and that increases the spacing. It doesn't increase the size of the text, just the spacing. And then if you hold down the Option left arrow key, it'll bring all those letters closer together. Okay? And that's another good thing to do, because if you ever look at text and there's a lot of space between text like this, it tends to look unprofessional. Unless you've got a very specific reason why you're doing that, it tends to look unprofessional. So a lot of times when I'm creating text, I always go through, and sometimes I'll even go through, like you'll just notice it's between specific letters, like maybe the L and the O here, and I'll just select those two letters and Option left arrow will bring them closer and decrease the spacing between those. It doesn't always happen between all letters, but I think sometimes you'll find that sometimes just a couple of letters and you can bring it in a little bit tighter. All right, while we were at it, if you go and you click on one letter, just select one letter or a number of letters in your text. And if you go and press Shift Command and then the up or the down arrow key, Sorry about that. Shift Option. I couldn't figure out why I was selecting the text. Command is what selects the text. Shift Option, and on a PC that would be Shift Alt. The up arrow key will move your letters up. The down arrow key will move your letter down. But basically like shifting the baseline of that letter. So you can see here I'm pressing Option Shift. On a PC it'd be Alt Shift and the down arrow key, or Option Shift and the up arrow key, and now it starts going back up. Okay. Let's see here. Ooh, this is another big one too. So if I select my text and I want to increase the size of the text, I can hold down. This is where Shift Command came in. I got confused with the last one. What you do is you hold down Shift Command, and it'd be Shift Control on a PC, and you're gonna do your bracket keys. Okay, the little right-facing arrow-looking bracket and the left-facing arrow-looking bracket. The greater than or less than signs, basically. Okay, the Command Shift and the greater than sign goes bigger. The other way goes smaller. Okay, if you look at the size up here in the type options bar, you'll actually see it. It starts growing by 1 point each size. Okay, and then I'm going down the other way with the left arrow key. Now, if you throw the Option key in there, so basically you're holding down the whole left side of the keyboard. If you do Command Shift Option on a PC, it'd be Control Shift or Alt. Now it goes in larger increments. Before it was just going by 1. Now you can see it's growing by 5 each time. So that's a really, really handy keyboard shortcut to get used to. In fact, if there's one that I would get used to, it's that one, because I think you'll find you'll be resizing your type quite often. Let's see here. If you want to duplicate, so let's say I've got my type layer over here, and I want to make a duplicate of it and move it. What you can do is, if you have your Move tool selected, just hold down the Option key on Mac, Alt on PC, and you'll see it changes to a little double cursor, and just click and drag. And it makes a duplicate copy of that, and now I can move it wherever I want. All right, you could of course press Command or Control J to duplicate the copy and then move it, but you're doing it all in one full swoop when you have the Move tool selected with just the Option click, because now I can move it and reposition it wherever I want. Next thing, this is another important one here. We're going to go and select our text, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to select the entire text. So it basically just means double click anywhere in the text block. I'm going to come up here to the type options bar and click right inside of it. And if I press the up or down arrow keys, you'll see it changes to all the different type fonts that I have installed here on the computer. Alright, so just the up and down arrow keys, and you'll just basically cycle through. If you want to jump to a font, like let's say I want to go to Arial, I'll just type in AR, and it'll actually jump straight to Arial for me. Just start typing in the font name, and it'll jump to that font for you. Okay, and let's see, the last tip here. If you want to change the shape of your text, all right, let's say I just want to change the shape of one of the letters in the text. You can do it. It's not really a type control, but it's a tip that, and I get asked this question quite a bit. It's a tip that has to do with type. What you want to do is come over here to the type layer and right click on it and choose Convert to Shape. Okay, and it's not going to be an editable type layer anymore, so I'm not going to be able to go in and change this, but that's okay. All right, at this point you're usually okay with your type. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and let's say I want to change the shape of the K. Okay, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to not the path selection tool, not the solid arrow, but the hollow arrow that's right below it, and I'm just going to drag over the bottom of it, and now I can change the shape. All these little corners are points. I can select one point, or if I drag select, I'm actually selecting a couple of points here. And then I can move that too. So you can go in here and again just click, and I can select one point. You can say I can move it wherever I want, or drag select and select 2 points, and that'll let me move it that way. And if you hold down the shift key, like notice I can go this way and this way with it. If I hold down the shift key, it constrains it to specific angles so that I can't move it left and right, and it'll actually keep it constrained for me there. So that's a great tip if you want to go in there and actually rechange and reshape some of the letters in a specific font, but you don't want to do the entire font. this is a great way to do it. And it's still going to keep the quality of the text because you're not increasing the size by adding pixels or anything to it. Okay, folks, there is 10-ish tips. There's actually a few more tips thrown in there on using the type tool inside Photoshop. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you again very soon.